Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses, and today we're going to be asking something that is both exciting and unexpected, and that is whether car manufacturers are starting to listen. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. Now that might sound a bit odd considering Jaguar's recent rebrand hilarity, with their oddly presented advert and that unusual looking Thunderbird-esque vehicle that they brought out, the Type 00, which to me is just the new Parkermobile or the Pink Panthermobile, one of the two. It's definitely unusual, and it's a big slab of cheese with a couple of angles. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what that is supposed to do. I mean, I know they're going exclusive, and I think it's going to be ridiculously expensive, which means most people aren't going to be able to buy Jags, but they don't seem to care. I don't know if they're attempting to drive the brand into the ground, or whether they feel this is the way the world should go. I don't know what's happening. But what makes me laugh is that the type of people they're aiming this towards are not usually the type of people that have lots of money and buy cars. So, and I know I'm being stereotypical there perhaps, but anyway, let's move on from that because the world's been full of it for the past few days. So let's talk about this. Did you see it? Well, recently I've become rather frustrated over the modern vehicles of today. Everything is just an electric SUV, and their attempt to try and draw people in is by bringing out brands that used to be really popular and are now very, very cool, stealing the name and sticking it on yet another modern SUV. Now, I'm referring to obviously the video I did last week with regards to the new Ford Capri, an electric SUV with a name that was very popular and still is very popular on the back of it. Doesn't make it a legend, and by saying the legend is back doesn't make it a legend and isn't really going to boost up sales. And when you slap that kind of label on it and then a massive price, doesn't really work. People aren't that stupid. What also frustrates me is when people say, but that must be what people want. No, I don't think it is. I think the only reason why people are buying them is because they don't really have much of a choice. That's pretty much the only choice they have. Buy an electric SUV or we'll just phase you out of society. That's where the brand is going. All manufacturers are making SUVs that are electric. So your choice went from having an SUV amongst a plethora of various other cars of petrol and diesel varieties, and now you've got electric SUVs. We might stick a little petrol one that you might drive around town in on the end. That's about it really. And then that's going to disappear soon also. So yeah, it's not about choice, I don't think. It's about that's all that's available. So it's your choice of what badge you want on this square SUV box that's electric. They all look pretty much the same on the inside and the outside. And they've just got a different badge on it. There is an upside to this. Manufacturers can now save an absolute fortune on employing designers, because all they need now is an office junior and give him a room at the end of the corridor with a photocopier in. As long as he's good at thievery, they can send him into the likes of VW and say, just go and steal the plans for the ID5, bring them back here, and then whilst you're at it, pop along to Polestar and have a look at their Polestar 2 and just now the blueprints for that. And then they'll take it down to the photocopy office. And unfortunately, because he's an office junior, he hasn't been trained very well. So what he's done is rather than just press copy, he smudged it a bit as he was photocopying it, and it made the lines slightly taller on each end. And that's about all they've done. They just photocopy everything else that's exactly the same and smudge the lines a bit and stick a different badge on it with a couple of subtle differences. Inside, they're pretty much the same vehicle, because on a photocopier you can't replicate that, so they're just going to go, oh, well, we've watched a video on that car, so we'll just copy that interior. In fact, just ring up their parts department, pretend you're a General Joe customer, and order 10,000 interiors for that vehicle. I know, I only just make a joke about it, but I don't think I'm that far from the truth. I think they're all in cahoots with each other, and it's all government fed, and I'm not going down the conspiracy route. But anyway, let's move on to what we're actually talking about, and that is something that really is exciting. As you may or may not know, I have a 1972 Mark I Escort that I will be redoing back to a rally replica car once the Mustang Mach-1 is finished. However, what if you wanted a new one? Now, you could go to the likes of MST, spend £85,000 and get a 2.5 litre Duratec, can't even say it right, Duratec engine, and pay 85 grand for the privilege and have a Mark I Escort that's modern in every other way. Or you could wait. And the reason why I say that is because borehammotorworks, who are licensed by Ford, and that's the important part here, have vowed to bring out 2 new vehicles so far, and there may be more in the works. What are those vehicles? Well, we're going to have to wait until the 12th of December to see the fully fledged article, but they have said it is blueprint accurate. They've also said that the technical specifications are the same as they were when the cars first came out in the 70s and 80s. Now, I don't know if that means they're going to have very little horsepower, really crap brakes, and not drive very well. Probably going to be modern takes on that. So technical specifications are probably going to be modern versions of what they were. But we'll wait and see, obviously, till the 12th of December. But they're bringing out this. This is the new Ford Mark I Escort and the new Ford RS 200. Now, I see potential issues with this. On their website, they're saying apply now for the limited run of the RS 200 and the Mark I Escort. As soon as I hear limited run, I think they're going to be exclusive, which also means they're going to be expensive, which also means there's not going to be many of them. Now, if you're going to go to all the trouble to produce a vehicle on a limited run, why not do a mainstream manufacturing? Now, I don't know the full things on it. I did try and look it up, but there's so many things to look at that I didn't look up all the details, and hopefully there's someone on here who can tell me, who's more into the car manufacturing world, who can tell me a bit more about it. But I wonder, if it's a limited run, it doesn't have to adhere to the exact same rules and regulations that all the other new mainstream manufactured production cars now have to. As of 2026, I know they're going to have to bring in all this auto braking system, the lane changed keeping system, the cruise control, the adaptable cruise control, and all that stuff that you see on a lot of modern cars now, but it's going to become law as of June 2026. Various different things that they have to have to make sure that all cars cannot ever crash into another one ever, apparently, or something like that. But anyway, I wonder if the rules are slightly different if you have a limited run of a certain vehicle. I personally feel, and I'm sure I'm not the only one here, that if they're going to bring this vehicle back, they need to do it as a production vehicle. Because if they made this a reasonably priced motor for the masses, see what I did there? Anyway, then I think the queue would be huge, and I for one would be right at the front of that queue. Now, this car needs to be the same as it was looking wise in the 70s and 80s. It needs to have reasonable power. It needs to not be electric, and it needs to be the right price, and it needs to be readily available. Those two last things I think are going to be the issue, but if they did, I think this would be one of the best selling vehicles out there. I really do. As I said before, the only reason why people are buying these electric SUVs is because that's pretty much all that's on offer these days. And because of their desperation to sell them, they're coming up with all kinds of offers to try and get rid of them. because people don't want them. But certain manufacturers, as you know, are starting to claw back their production of these electric SUVs because they're realising people aren't buying them. I know sales were up in comparison to petrol and diesel, but that's only because of the availability of these in comparison to petrol and diesel. You know, it's not rocket science, is it? Now, I think, as I say, if they make these cars well priced, as well as safe and mainstream available, they will sell millions. I really do. The problem is, if it's 50 to 60k, 60,000 pounds, it's going to be the same as like the Capri or the Mustang Mach-E. I'm talking about Ford here because this is Ford. Which means that it's not quite a motor for the masses because you have to spend a little bit more to get what you want when you'd probably usually want to spend about 35 grand on a new car. So 50 to 60,000 pound is a bit too much. Puts it in the exclusive bracket. Not quite as exclusive as a supercar, but more exclusive. Not quite as available. So I think they'll certainly price themselves out of the market, unless of course they have really favourable finance packages, but I doubt it if they are going to be limited runs. I don't know. If it's 30 to 40,000, especially under 40,000, that will take it under that odd tax bracket where you have to pay a lot more extra for the first 5 years of the vehicle ownership. So if it's under 40,000, I think that will be unbelievable. They won't be able to make enough of them. I don't think they're going to make it mainstream because they say on the website this limited run of these vehicles. I don't understand why you'd go to the expense of creating such a vehicle that's going to have, I think, a massive draw. The Mark I Escorts of these worlds are unbelievably popular. If you want an original one now that's mint, you got to spend 50, 60,000 pounds on one, maybe even more if it's an absolute concourse vehicle. The same goes for the likes of Sierras, and I'll come on to that in a second. But for this kind of money, for 30 to 40,000, I really think that would be an unbelievably popular car. And as I say, I would definitely be at the front of that queue for one. And now I don't think they're going to do it because of this limited run that they say they're going to do. But the problem with that is with the limited run comes a higher price tag and comes a pointless exercise. Why are you doing it if you're only going to sell a few of them? Because let's say you make 100 cars, just for example. I don't know how limited this run is. They haven't mentioned anything. 12th of December is going to be the key. I think that will tell us, hopefully, the price, what it looks like, what the specs are, and how many they're going to make. So there's only a week to find out, so we'll wait for that. But if they sell, say, 100 of these cars at £100,000, if they've already got the moulds, they've already got the technical know-how to make them. If they make 1,000 of these cars, they've only got to sell the car at 80 grand to make more money. It just sort of stands to reason, doesn't it? Because the production isn't going to be that much, because they're basically making a car, especially a petrol car with some modern technology in it, and they can still make those for 30, 40 grand in modern tech now anyway, so I can't see why they can't do that. If they make 10,000 of these cars, I'm sure they can sell it for 50, 60 grand to make it profitable as much as it would as if it was 100 cars at £100,000. Because then the whole exercise will be worth it. If they can sell 100,000 of these cars, I reckon they can sell them at 30 to 40 grand and still make the same sort of money. And they'll be out there, and then the options for upgrading them even more and adding things on them and making... I don't know. I mean, I'm not doing pure hard maths here, but I don't think it's rocket science. I think, you know, you can make a little profit on each car and make the same amount of money as if you'd make a massive profit on those and risk not being able to sell them, and then have a limited run, and then at the end of that limited run, what are you going to do with it? It's a pointless exercise. You can't do anything with the moulds. They're just waste of time there. I don't know, it just seems like a stupid, pointless exercise for a limited run. It's exactly the same as concept cars. I cannot see the point of a concept car. They make it with massive wheels, they make it with all these flares, they make it look unbelievably awesome, apart from the new Jag. Yes, milady. But they never make it. What a waste of money. I've never known such a waste of money as making concept cars. Why do they bother? I just don't get it. I know it's a whole boost thing of look what we can do, but nobody cares because they make it and then nothing happens with it. So what an absolute waste of money. Anyway, I wonder if this is going to see a reinsurgence of new old retro vehicles from other manufacturers. Now, we've already got the new Renault 5 coming. Yes, okay, it's not exactly the same as the old Renault 5, but it's a modern take on it. And that apparently is starting at £23,000. That is a brilliant price. Brilliant price. I'm interested, and I want to go and have a look at one once it comes out, because I am genuinely keen on that price for that type of car. It's electric though, so maybe I'm not. I don't know. I mean, with modern technology, the way things are going, and the modern e-fuels that they're talking about, I can't see why combustion engine vehicles can't continue. Government exercise, agendas around the world, who knows? Let's just bypass that for a second. Now, they've also, as well as this Mark 1 Escort they've got coming out, they've got the RS200, as I said, and that, I can understand that being a limited run, because that was never a motor for the masses. That was a homologation car that they produced so they could make the rally car. The Mark 1 Escort was a basic mainstream family vehicle, mid-sized compact family vehicle. So that could be a motor for the masses if they brought out a four-door version, although I think this is probably going to be a two-door version, but we'll see on the 12th of December. But again, what if this sort of boosts the fire up in other manufacturers? We'll forget Jaguar because they seem to have abandoned their company altogether and gone down a different route of producing something you'd see on a catwalk and nowhere else. That's certainly not on the road. I wonder if Peugeot will bring back the 205 GTI. I mean, they do have their little 208 GTI and things like that, but a retro-looking Peugeot 205 GTI I think would be superb. Let's see. I wonder if borehammotorworks will bring out the RS500 Sierra Cosworth. Who knows? Again, probably a limited run. And again, that was an exclusive car. It's not a motor for the masses. I keep saying that. I'm not boosting my own channel, honestly. But the Mark 1 Escort was a motor for the masses. Many people had them. They were in lots of families. The same with the Mark 3 Cortina, the Mark 4 Cortina, the Mark 5 Cortina, the Mark 2 Granada, the Mark 1 Granada. Oh, imagine if they brought them all back. Oh, that'd be amazing. Another Mark II Granada as a big family saloon. Looked the same. Modern car, not electric. 2-litre engine. With the power you can get of a 2-litre engine now that can match and surpass the power of my old 2.8 V6, 2.8i V6 that I used to have. Oh, that would be amazing. But anyway, we'll see. It's only a week to go. I'm keen to see what it's going to look like. I'm keen to see how many they're going to make, and I'm keen to see the price. Chances are, my worry is, everyone's going to go, oh, look at that, look at that. Oh, it's that much? Oh, they're only making how many? Oh, okay, all right, whatever. Oh, it's just the same as an MST. MST were great, and, you know, I think that's a fantastic idea. The problem is, it's a £75,000 car because they're more bespoke. They're not mainstream production. When you've got companies like borehammotorworks who are licensed by Ford who can make this a production vehicle, it could be worthwhile doing as a mainstream car. It needs to be. MST are great. I like what they do. I haven't driven one yet. I'd like to. I haven't actually got round to it yet. I'd like to drive one. I'd love to own one because they look and sound amazing, but 85 grand, sorry, not 75, 85 grand, £85,000 is a starting price. Something like 175 grand for the X-Pack version, the X-Evo. I mean, that's £175,000. That's super exclusive, isn't it? Mainstream is what we need. Mainstream, affordable, retro, modern vehicles. People want them. People that are buying cars are 30 to 50 years old, I would say. Probably I know everyone's buying cars. What I'm saying is a lot of the people that buy the new electric cars, when you look at them, you think 30 to 50 years old, maybe a bit either side. Certainly not the younger generation, because they're too unaffordable. They can't get the finance, so they're buying old scrapper cars. If you can make them cool looking retro cars that are affordable, most people will buy them, I think. If I'm wrong, then tell me. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this and where you think this is going, if it's heading in any particular direction. And that's all I've got for this little short, so thank you for joining me. Sorry if I've waffled, but I've got a lot to say on this subject, and I really feel this is something they should expand on. So there you go. So until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye.